When you're about to flip, a brace can stop you. But you have to do it right to protect your shoulders from potential injury. Let's break it down. So there are two types of braces, the low brace and the high brace. And you have to do them right to protect your shoulders. No matter what kind of brace you're doing, you want to make sure that your head always follows the paddle blade wherever you go. Where your head leads, your body will follow. The other rule is to make sure that you stay in the paddler's box. Make sure that your elbows are bent at your waist. You don't extend your arms either out or behind you. And always make sure your elbow stays below your shoulder. The brace is essentially a method of using pressure on your blade to keep yourself from flipping. In both the low brace and the high brace, you're using water pressure or building water pressure under the blade and using that to stay upright. For the low brace, you want to point the paddle down. Your fist is pointed down and the front face of the blade is pointed down as well. The paddle needs to slice forward toward the bow. Think of it as skipping a stone. You want the blade to be angled just right to glide across the surface and provide resistance. One of the biggest mistakes people make with a low brace is thinking that they can brace straight down. Bracing straight down just sinks the paddle and it isn't very effective. The great thing about moving forward with the paddle when you take a low brace is then you can follow it with a stroke. So every time you low brace, you want to take a stroke. You can also land off of drops or ledges in a low brace, angling your paddle. Your elbows should be up anyway because that's how you can keep your body in control. So you're in a low brace position already. The paddle blade shifts toward the front of the boat. You want it to skip across the water with a lot of power and force. You don't want your low brace to slow you down. And then you can take a stroke. If you're controlling your core and your angle, then your elbows are going to be a little bit higher, like we call them chicken wings. Your paddle is going to be in front of you or tucked to the side, but you're over your boat when you land on a waterfall. What that means is if you switch to a high brace, you're having to get out of that power position. So you actually are able to land, if you're boofing, land, scoop out if you need to without slowing down, and then continue with another stroke. If you were to switch to a high brace, and sometimes there is a time to draw or you land on a draw stroke, you have to be very careful because any sort of landing with your arm extended puts your shoulder at extreme risk. It's the same reason we don't go out like this when we go off of drops, because your arms up, your elbows above your shoulders is like a double dislocation waiting to happen. For the high brace, you're doing the opposite. Both are pointed up, hence the name high brace. You're going back toward the back deck of the boat or even to the side. The problem is, and what gets a lot of people injured, is that people tend to reach for leverage when they high brace. The danger zone for a high brace is anytime your elbow begins to straighten, your arm begins to go behind you, or your elbow gets above your shoulder. Anytime you're bracing, whether it's forward or back, you want to make sure your head follows the paddle. And the reason for that is wherever your head leads, your body will follow, but also you're way more stable with your head toward the water. This might sound counterintuitive, but your head being toward the water is actually a really stable position to be in. You can lay with your head in the water. The catch is, you lift your head, then you'll start to flip. So if you're in a position where your elbow is bent, you're in a position to do a good high brace. I always recommend if you're practicing, practice a low brace into a high brace. Low brace, high brace. Practice doing your low brace correctly, and you'll get really good at staying over your boat. So you low brace, and then you can pull the stroke. So if your low brace doesn't work for some reason, your low brace fails and you start to fall over, then you can do a high brace, but the position you're in, you have your bent elbow so your shoulders are safe. All right, so we're gonna try it again, get some speed up, your low brace, strip. Low brace, strip. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I know it's crazy to always have to ask for subscribers and likes. It's not for my ego, I promise. It really just helps me keep the channel going. Without your support, YouTube doesn't think it's special. And it also affects the type of opportunities I get down the road and the ways that I can get paid down the road. So please hit that subscribe button just to support. There's also another way you can support if you're interested in me supporting you. Go to my website and sign up for my email list, and then you'll be one of the first to know for when I'm doing an instructional opportunity near you. And now that includes virtual coaching. So I can do a virtual video review with you or virtual consultations as well. So make sure you go to my website and check that out at boydrepelt.com. I'll see you on the river.